why don't we kick it off first with our translators to introduce, if you are making use of the foreign language channels, how you will participate tonight. Go ahead, Danielle.
Thank you, Ron. Good evening, everyone. This is Danielle here from Rosetta Languages with the whole team for 7 languages. As is our usual intro, we're going to just explain in each of the different languages how to get on the language channels. And I will start with Arabic. السلام عليكم، مساء الخير. اسمي دانيال وأنا هكون المترجم للغة العربية الليلة. سيظهر على الشاشة بعد قليلا رمز الكرة الأرضية. اضغط على هذا الرمز واختر اللغة العربية. إذا كنت على هاتف محمول فعليك الضغط على 3 نقط ثم اختيار اللغة العربية ثم تم. شكرا جزيلا. I will now pass it to Spanish.
Buenas noches y bienvenidos a todo el mundo. Mi nombre es Emily. Estoy aquí con Rosetta Language proveyendo interpretación en español esta noche. Y si usted se está conectando y desea servicio de interpretación, simplemente cuando se enciende la función, vayan al fondo de su pantalla y ahí presione el globo. De allá escoge Spanish y se va a conectar. Si se está conectando tras un celular, por favor empuje a donde hay 3 punticos y de allá igualmente escoge interpretación Spanish. Gracias. Now to Portuguese.
Olá, boa noite. Meu nome é Raíssa, eu sou intérprete português. Quando ativamos a função de interpretação, você vai ver um globo na parte de baixo da sua tela. Por favor, escolha português. Se você estiver participando de um celular, na parte de baixo da sua tela, você vai ver 3 bolinhas com a palavra more ou mais. Aí, por favor, escolhe português de novo. Obrigada. I will now pass it to Terry for Mandarin.
Actually, thank you. Hi, this is Terry. I'll be your Mandarin interpreter. 大家好，我叫 Terry， 我会是你们的普通话翻译。待会儿你们就会在屏幕下方看到一个地球仪的图标，然后你点这个地球仪的图标，你就可以选择 Mandarin， 就是普通话。如果你是用手机或者是用 iPad 上网的话呢，你点3个点，然后再选择翻译的功能，然后你也可以选择到这个普通话。好，谢谢大家。I'll pass it to Anna, please.
Hello， 大家好，我 Anna， 我今晚會為你帶嚟廣東話嘅同步翻譯。我哋係嚟自 Rosetta Language 嘅團隊，我哋今天晚上為你提供7種嘅語言同步翻譯。如果你想聽到廣東話同步翻譯嘅時候咧，你去到呢個地球儀嘅圖標去撳呢個圖標，揀 Cantonese， 咁你就會聽到廣東話同步翻譯㗎啦。一陣間見。So I will pass it back actually to Lynn for Vietnamese, right?
Thank you. Xin chào quý vị, tên tôi là Linh, tôi là người phiên dịch tiếng Việt cho quý vị hôm nay. Một khi chúng tôi đã kích hoạt tính năng phiên dịch, xin vui lòng bấm vào biểu tượng quả đĩa cầu trên màn hình và chọn ngôn ngữ là tiếng Việt Vietnamese để được nghe phiên dịch trực tiếp. Nếu quý vị đang dùng điện thoại thông minh smartphone thì xin bấm vào bao dấu chấm, rồi sau đó chọn ngôn ngữ phiên dịch là Language Interpretation, rồi sau đó quý vị chọn tiếng Việt là Vietnamese. Sau đó là xong. Xin cảm ơn quý vị. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Nikita, are you connected and your sound working okay? Can you hear us okay? Can you try saying something? Ron, do you want us to get started?
Yeah, I think so. And I think for those that are relying on that channel, our apologies for the tech difficulties here, but I think the best way to do it would be to pop Nikita into that channel. And as she resolves her technical difficulty, then she'll pick up, I guess, right in line. Okay. So I think that's probably the best way to proceed at this time.
Sounds good. I'll just remind all the interpreters to activate your microphones. Make sure you're not on mute. And Ron, you can go ahead and activate the channel.
All right, sounds good. We will do that right now. So interpreters, I'm starting interpretation right now. Should be good. Danielle, give me the thumbs up.
Not yet. I didn't come up on my screen.
Boy, okay. Everything's going to give us a hard time today. All right. Well, this one can at least give Nikita a minute to.
That is true. Nikita, give me
Danielle,
a
just-
signal if it's working. Just, you know, text me or send a message or something so we know when it's all set.
Danielle, just for your information, maybe you could even help on this side of things, but I did add everyone to the appropriate channels and I hit start interpretation and then I think it just bounced me back.
Oh, try, what happens if you, like for each of the channels, if you retype our names and not our email addresses, but just our names, how they're showing up on our Zoom screen right now, will that work?
Yeah, that's how I'm going to try it right now. I'm hoping that works. And again, thank you everyone at home for your patience. Obviously, it's not something we planned for, but I do appreciate you guys hanging on for us. This is important for our language access that we get this right. And thanks again for your patience. All right, so I've added everyone to the proper channels and I'm hitting the start button as we speak. And
That's
nothing
so
yet.
weird. No, I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
I've never seen something like that. Plan B is we can record, Anna suggests.
Yeah, and then just mute.
Yeah, we could do
Yeah.
that.
I
And
think
that,
that's probably the best.
okay. Thank you, Anna, for the good suggestion. So let me get my,
All right, one more attempt at what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna have one more trick up my sleeve on the troubleshooting side.
awesome.
Yep, no, that's not gonna work what I thought. So, all right, so we're plan B on that. So let's have all the interpreters go ahead and mute and record, and then you can provide the recordings to us, and then we'll make those available after the fact. So again, thank you everybody for bearing with us on this technical difficulty. So with that, we'll get started. My name's Ron Cochran. I'm the communications director for the city of Malden, and I'm also working on managing the project for the pay-as-you-throw new card implementation. With me, as always, is Mayor Christensen, who will be moderating the forum tonight. And I thought it would be best just to keep this brief. I know that a lot of you have joined us on our initial webinar, which is when we did a full presentation. I thought we would kind of trim this down a little bit and didn't realize it was going to take us 10 minutes to get here. And again, my apologies. But I thought I'd just quickly go over where we're at. So here we are. It is April 8th, Thursday, April 8th. On Monday, April 12th, you will see the first carts arriving in the city of Malden. Our planned distribution for one recycling cart and one trash cart for each residential unit begins on Monday, April 12th, and it will go throughout the city until we've completed our distribution to all roughly 16,000 residential units out there, so a total of 32,000 carts. We are contracted with a vendor named Rerig. They're the ones that built the carts for us, and they're handling the distribution. And the technique that they will use is they'll be delivering these carts kind of one trash zone at a time. So you'll see first the Friday route. So if your trash route is a Friday, you're going to be the first to receive your carts. And that'll take us about 1 week. And then we'll move on to the next trash route, which would be the Monday route, and then so on and so forth. I'm hesitant to say exactly when these carts will arrive on dates because we have to account for a lot of different things about, you know, weather and delivery time and any kind of issues we might run into. But our hope is that between 3 and 4 weeks after we start, so roughly the end of April, every resident in the city will have their set of carts. Couple of things to make note of just on the cart distribution. Sometimes they will come by on a street and deliver half of the street and take a lunch break, or deliver the other half and start the next day. The best way I could describe it is if you see carts in your neighborhood, that's one thing. But if you see carts on your street, both sides of the street, that's an indication that we have been by your house. And if at that point you did not receive our cart, that's at the time that you'd want to give us a call and let us know that that was missed. So that would be one scenario. Where you're going to contact us, we have the pay-as-you-throw hotline, which we're going to talk about. And that is going to be live, actually has been live and active. For some of you that have already received the postcard at your house, the carts are coming packet, you will notice that you've had a phone number at the bottom, and some of you have been taking advantage of that. I'm stalling because I want to make sure I get the right phone number when I say it to everybody, but I believe it's 781-605-5100. I'll validate that and get back to you. You have any issues, questions, concerns, comments, you can use that hotline, and we will be staffing that hotline our normal City Hall business hours, which would be Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., and then Tuesday, 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. But we will be checking voicemails all throughout the weekend and all throughout the evening as best we can to stay ahead of many questions. So once you receive your carts on your next scheduled collection day, you can begin to use them. And again, we'll review what you do. You're going to receive the one black trash cart and the one blue recycling cart per residential unit. Each one of them will have an attachment, and that attachment will be in multiple languages. And it's basically your instruction for that particular cart. The recycling cart will have one set of instructions, and again, the trash cart will have another. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen actually and just show you guys what that's going to look like. One moment. So you should all be seeing, Mayor Christensen, can you validate for me? Because I'm the only one who has audio that you can see that. Okay, great. So what you're looking at here is the blue recycling card, and then the trash card looks similar. On the front page, you're going to see a set of commonly asked questions, and on the back page, you're going to see some specific instructions. And again, for the recycled card, again, questions on the front, instructions on the back. These are repeated in the different languages. Here's one sample. This is our one of our Chinese languages. We have this in both simplified as well as traditional Chinese. But for all the other languages, these cards are repeated. So as you can imagine, you're going to get these instruction packets, and it'll be one page each for each language. You rip out which one is appropriate to you, and then you go ahead and hang that on your refrigerator for reference. But let's go through it really quick. So what can you put in your new recycling cart? Nothing's changed about recycling. Materials are the same, but they just now all go into one cart. So we're in a single stream environment now. We encourage folks to continue to use, actually we'll get to that in the question. We'll talk about overflow, but second question here is why are the carts smaller than what they've seen in other cities? I'm actually gonna hold off on that because I know one of our opening questions from, I think, Roger, I saw that he had asked that. So I'm gonna save that and answer it then. Where can you find out what materials go in there? Again, nothing's changed about the types of materials that will go into your recycling. It's just a matter of they're all going in one cart now. But for reference, you can always look at our Waste Wizard database, cityofmalden.org/waste, and that tells you all the materials and how to recycle them. This issue of whether or not you can, what do you do about overflow recycling? Well, again, that fortunately has not changed about our program at all. What you have done always, and Malden's always been a community that have been great recyclers, things like cardboard box bundles off to the side of your recycling, extra carts, things like that for recycling. We want you to keep doing that. So if you've purchased extra carts, such as a toter or even just a simple lightweight plastic barrel with a cover, as long as those are properly labeled, mixed recycling, JRM will continue to take those bins. So again, this is for overflow recycling. And conveniently within the packet that's going to be attached to your recycling cart, we did put one free mixed recycling sticker that you can apply to your overflow carts and barrels. But those can be, if you have more, if you have need for more, we can give you those free from the DPW. You just contact them at 781-397-7160, and they can mail you out some additional stickers. And hopefully when COVID frees up, you can actually visit the DPW and get those yourself. Down the road, and I'm going to try to keep this off to the side, but we are going to make, as of July 1st, we're going to make additional carts for purchase available. But again, since that's not until July, I'm going to put that to the bottom of the list here for our topics. I want to get everybody prepared for what's happening this next coming month. And then for your old city issued open top recycling bins, what do you do with those? Well, you're more than welcome to keep those and reuse them in whatever way you want. You can use them for home, for whatever storage. But if you're looking to get rid of them, JRM, and we'll announce this probably about midway through the month of April, we'll sort of announce a day that you leave them all out, and JRM will come and haul them away for you if you wish to get rid of them. But just understand that once we're heavy into this program and you leave that 18-gallon bin out there thinking that it's going to be a recycling vehicle, it's going to get taken away and gone for good. So please understand that. On the back page of this instructions, as some of you are familiar with this, but this is a reference for all the different materials that we accept. I won't go over this too much because this is something that, again, there's no difference in the materials that were taken, but this is a reference nonetheless. Heading over to our trash card. So this will be attached to your trash. What do I put inside my black trash card? I'll freeze on this one because this seems to be one of the areas that I think is most confusing to folks, and I want to make sure I address this clear and concise. Once you get your black trash card, you can put pay-as-you-throw blue bags in there, or if you choose to purchase an annual trash tag, you can then put in household trash bags in there. And those trash tags are not going to be available until July. So I think that was one of the biggest things, biggest questions or biggest concerns early on, was that folks were wondering when they'd have the opportunity to purchase those trash tags. We did have to separate those two phases of the implementation just because it would be a little too difficult to be associating trash tags to the right barrels when we're trying to get all the carts out to everyone. So we did want to separate that. So again, as of the time that you get your carts in April, it's blue bags until you receive, until the opportunity is made in July to purchase these trash tags. I'm sure we're going to cover that more in the questions. How much trash can you put in the black cart? It's up to 35 pounds. If you had the trash tag, it would be bagged household trash, but pay-as-you-throw blue bags. But for reference, it's basically the equivalent of one large pay-as-you-throw blue bag. Again, we'll talk about trash tags later. And getting additional barrels and carts, again, that's a July implementation. I'm going to push that to the side. We'll talk about that later. And overflow. So if you have extra blue bags, again, a lot of folks out there have already wisely made use of extra carts to properly contain their trash, and we thank you for that. That's kind of the real spirit behind these changes, is to keep trash contained. So for those folks who've purchased extra barrels and extra carts to contain your pay-as-you-throw overflow bags, please keep doing that. We don't want to take that away. We want to make sure that you're still able to do that. For any lost, stolen, broken, or any issues, as we talked about, that hotline number, again, it's 781-605-5100. And then we'll talk about the blue bags. That's sort of a question I think a lot of you that have been tuned in understand, and that, why aren't pay-as-you-throw bags going away? Again, we're not really changing that element of it. We're just making other options available for you in the trash tag. On the back of that, you're going to see basically a visual of what we just described. So we had to put this on the initial, the trash tags. We understand that can be confusing that they're not immediately available. But if you understand the fact that this is kind of our one shot to get this literature to our residents, we had to include it all, So as July gets closer in probably early to mid-June, we're going to do a similar campaign just like this, where we'll have multiple webinars and put in newspaper articles and social media posts that will equally promote the changes that happen as of July, meaning trash tags and the ability to purchase extra carts. Okay, so that was a mouthful. And I, again, appreciate everybody's patience. I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Christensen, who's going to look in the Q&A feature of the webinar for all of our questions.
All right, thank you, Ron, and good evening.
Entonces, gracias, Ron, y buenas noches a todos.
Sorry to have you here on such a beautiful evening, but this issue is one that we've been working on for a long time, and we want to keep moving forward. So before I do, I just want to thank Mr. Cochran and Ron Hogan, Chuck Granigan, Bobby Knox, Maria Luis, and the list goes on. This has been a combined effort to try to get us to this point. And what I'm just so proud of is that, based on what happened during the past year, this would have been an issue that we could have just put on the back burner, but our team refused to do that. And I want to acknowledge their efforts. And I also want to acknowledge your efforts. This is something that I know you've asked us to work on for a long time, and I really do appreciate your patience. But let me tell you, I'll never look at trash the same way again after this. So watch for my book someday. I'm going to write a book about what's going on here to get us to this point. So without further ado, let's get to your questions. Hopefully my mother or father went first. Let's see. First up, we have Roger. Before I ask my question, know that I wholeheartedly support the city and Mayor Christensen. I should stop right there and go to the next question. No, let me go on. Why on God's green earth are the barrels still so small? We established that the trash people will now only be lifting the bags out of the containers. So the argument that the bigger barrels would be too heavy does not hold water.
So thanks, Roger, first of all, for at least in your comments, keeping the word green in there. So thank you at least for that. But Roger, we get it. We understand what you're saying. It was a tricky situation for us to solve, to kind of retrofit our existing program. And you point out something that seems like an obvious point, which is, hey, listen, they can reach in and grab the bags and pull them out. Where that falls short and why we had to stick with the smaller 35-gallon bins, or carts rather, is the offering of the trash tag. If we were to go with a larger cart, again, knowing that JRM wasn't going to pick it up or put it with an automated toter, it would then get into multiple sizes and offerings within, within the collection cycle. So there's no way that we could provide a larger cart because it wouldn't keep us under our 35-gallon maximum for each collection. So we wouldn't be able to offer multiple trash tags in different sizes. I think it just strikes to how simplicity wins out on this one. In a complex, implementation, we were able to kind of distill it down and really just address all the situations. I don't know if I'm fully answering your question, but I hope I did.
Roger, let me add to what Ron's saying. I think another factor was we want to make sure that we keep the focus on recycling. So I think psychologically, if we went with larger barrels, the tendency might have been for people just to dispose of their trash in the black barrel and not recycle as much. I think another thing is, based on all the hearings that we had with the city council, there were a number of people who did not have the capacity to store a 65-gallon or a 96-gallon barrel. So we thought this was another reason. And then Ron, finally, I thought there was a grant associated with this size cart. Was that also a factor?
That's correct. I was going to get to that too. Yeah. So we were able, because we kept it small, the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection made available some grants for us to take advantage of, and their suggestion, they had suggested sizes in which they did that, and we were able to take advantage of it because we kept it small. And I think what you'll see in neighboring communities, I think you're going to wind up seeing more and more communities that go new with the carts, or that kind of rehash their program, are going to wind up going with smaller containers to encourage folks to reduce trash and increase recycling. So
All right.
we understand.
Yep, good question, Roger. Let's go to Jack. All right, here we have two questions. Are you going to do anything to enforce business and large apartment complex dumpsters that are open and overflowing? Number two, what about persons who roam the city picking bottles and cans with deposits? Actually goes against the contract, which you're correct, Jack. They will have to dig into the blue carts, causing all kinds of issues.
So let's take the first one. We already are enforcing businesses in large apartment complexes that have dumpster issues. Feel free, we have a system at www.cclickfix.com. It allows you to report any kind of issues related to that, whether it be illegal dumping, overflowing dumpsters, general issues about properties that are not taking care of their property. We have the mayor has a problem properties unit that meets bi-weekly that addresses any apartments or businesses that are not compliant, habitually or systemically, that they keep that up, then they address that. So please, Jack, if you see that, report it on CClickFix. We will address it immediately. Number two, I try to not predict that there's a problem and try to solve a problem before it happens. That's generally with this level of complexity of project, that's what we're sticking to, the problems that we know we need to address. This hasn't been brought to our attention as an issue. It's not commonly reported to us. And frankly, when we asked other cities, this has not been something that's presented a problem. So I'll go back to the CClickFix on this. If you think there's an issue with, anything trash related as this program rolls out, please put it on there and we'll address it as it comes. But please give it a chance to run for a couple of months, and then we'll analyze whether or not that's a real issue.
All right, very good. Back to Roger. Sorry I spelled the mayor's name wrong. Don't worry about that, Roger. I've been called worse, believe me. He's got another question. Let's see. Is it too late to get bigger barrels for larger families? We need at least 64-gallon containers. Otherwise, we are paying up to 3 times more than others, and that is not fair. There has to be a solution. What say you?
Yeah, so Roger, I don't know if that's maybe you might be confused on how these are being implemented, but there will be no increased cost to you because you have a large family. It's not like there's any different in the amount of trash that you produce and how much is paid for it. If anything, you're going to actually reduce your fees when the trash tags are made available, because that ends up being a discount for that primary bag. If you have an excess of trash, I mean, I'm in that boat. I have a family of 5, and very rarely do I stay with a 1 bag per week. So when I go with my overflow, I have a trash toter, one that I bought from Lowe's, that I continue to put my overflow bags in. And it sounds like that will work for you as well. So what you'll have, Roger, is your primary black cart, where you put that 1 bag in there, and then presumably you're going to be overflowing every week. So you'll take additional blue bags and you'll go ahead and put those in those 64-gallon containers that you already own. It sounds like you probably already have those if you have this situation now. We don't want you to get rid of those. We want you to keep using those. Thanks for keeping it off the street and keeping it contained. Again, that's no different in the price because you're still buying blue bags as you do now. No difference in price. But when those trash tags come out, you are going to save roughly $30 a year on that primary bag. So again, to hash that out, it'll be $75 for a trash tag, which gets you the ability to fill up that one container each week. So if you take that, that's pretty much about $104 worth of blue bags if you were just blue bags. So paying $75, you know, you're saving that $29 on it. So Roger, it sounds like, I don't know, maybe you're going to do better than you thought you were.
All right, if we buy the trash can, we don't need to buy bags? Why don't you explain that one more time?
Yeah, so if you are, once July happens and you're planning to participate in the trash tag, you're going to buy a tag from either coming into City Hall live, or you can do it online. We'll be making them available online. We'll mail you that tag. You'll take that tag and attach it to your black trash cart. And now your black trash cart has the ability to put regular household bags, hefty bags, Glad bags, things like that, inside of that container. So when JRM comes around to look and they see, you know, a Glad bag inside your black cart, there has to be a trash tag associated with that cart. And that's what allows you to then use that. For blue bags, if you want to continue to buy blue bags and you don't want anything to do with a trash tag, then really nothing's changed for you. It's just where you're going to be putting that bag. So I hope that answers your question.
All right, let's say hello to Laurie. I have a 32-gallon barrel with lid. May I use this for recycling with a green commingled sticker?
You can definitely use that 32-gallon barrel with the lid. Thanks for the lid. That's great. Keeps the stuff off the street. As far as the second half of it, the commingled sticker, I think that'll be fine for now, but we're hoping that as time goes on, we get folks to refresh that sticker and put on the new blue mixed recycling sticker. I mean, truth be told, JRM's going to figure out that it's recycling. They'll see the word commingled, or they'll see the word paper, you know, from your legacy stickers that they're all out there, and they know that's recycling. So they'll get it. But we hope that as this goes on, you'll refresh and grab a new free sticker from the DPW that says mixed recycling on it.
All right, over to Linda C. Will we still be able to use the large capacity barrels that we already own? If yes, do they need to be labeled with a street address?
Label them with the street address is always recommended because of windy days. They might blow down, you know, next door neighbor. It's certainly not a requirement from us. Yes, we do want you to continue to use any carts that you use now. It's just that you won't be able to attach, if in the case of a trash tag, you wouldn't be able to use a trash tag for that. But if you're using it for recycling, absolutely continue to use those carts that you've already purchased.
All right, back to Roger. You are still the best, Mr. Mayor. I'm glad my mom got a hold of him. That's good. Okay, let's say hello to Dale. What is the height of the carts? They might be too high for our garbage room, which is under the porch. What is the height?
I have a schematic somewhere. I'll see if I can bring that up and maybe answer that question towards the end.
All right, Dale, hang tight. If we don't, for some reason, how should he get a hold of you to follow up, Ron?
So you can email me at rcochran@cityofmalden.org. So that's RCOCHRAN@cityofmalden.org.
But we'll try and get you the height, Dale, before the webinar ends. All right. Can you refuse the recycling cart and just keep a trash cart?
So as you can imagine, it's going to be quite an operation for us as we're delivering these carts, you know, literally thousands a day. It's difficult, if not impossible, for us to kind of get that granular. So we have allocated and budgeted for every unit to get both a trash cart and a recycling cart. So the only kind of valid reason at this point to opt out would be one of two things. One would be, and when I say opt out, I mean refusing either cart or both. The only valid option for that would be, one, you live in a place, either condo or a home that already has private collection, and you don't need this at all. And then the second option, or the second scenario, would be you're in a larger multifamily home that's maybe in a tight space with no setbacks, and you already own carts, you know, and you just simply don't have the room. Some folks that have been reaching out to us, they say, oh, we always throw the bags out on the street and we've never needed carts. Well, you know, that is something we're getting away from. And again, that's one of the core principles of this new program, is we are trying to get what I call the naked bags off the street to prevent all the issues that come with that, you know, such as rodents and litter that blow around. So yeah, so just accept those carts, and if you don't put the trash cart out, I'm sure you'll have another use for it. But if it becomes a real, you know, pain to you, you can always call the hotline and we can work it out. We can see what we can do.
And one more time for the hotline number.
Yeah, sure. It's 781-605-5100, and that is during City Hall business hours. And you can leave a voicemail if it's off hours.
Thank you, Joni. Can you use your old bins as well as the barrels?
Yeah, so I think we've covered that. Continue to use carts for both your pre-purchase, the ones you already own, for both trash and recycling. Again, we're asking that you, on the recycling side, that you make sure that it's properly labeled as well as the trash. If it's trash overflow, those are the red trash stickers that, again, we already have been using those for quite some time in the city. If you're not aware of them, just call the DPW at 781-397-7160, or just dpw@cityofmalden.org. And they would be happy to mail you either one of those stickers, either the mixed recycling sticker or the red trash sticker, which essentially converts your home carts into overflow carts.
All right, let's say good evening to Gail. What are the options for tenants in 8 or more unit buildings? And is the tenant or landlord responsible?
So for 8, that would be private collection. So anything above 6 units, so 7 or more units, by our city ordinance, you need to be using a private hauler, private collection. So if that's not the case, if you're in a multi-unit building that is using pay-as-you-throw, that unfortunately is going to come to an end, and you'll have to let your landlord know that they need to start using a private collection. If your 6 units are under, I'm sorry, what was the second half of that question? Oh yeah, whose responsibility is it?
Who's responsible?
Yeah, that's always been, we don't have anything in ordinance or city, you know, rules.
Yeah,
or
Gail,
anything.
that would depend upon your agreement with the landlord. So double check that. And if you have any questions, let us know. All right, let's go over to Gina. We have very, very large recycling bins our landlord bought us. Can the trash take these off our hands on Monday? Should we mark it as trash if so?
Yeah, good question. First of all, if there's nothing wrong with them, I would discourage you from tossing them unless they're really, you know, raggedy and you're looking to get rid of them, because I know there are some folks that's the case. Those are pretty expensive, and especially if the landlord's prepaid for them, I wouldn't get rid of them, because again, you're going to eventually probably need them for overflow. So hang on to them. But if you do have a raggedy old barrel that you've been, you know, hanging on to for years, yes, we will be giving an opportunity for you to get rid of those. And the way that's going to work is after we've implemented the program and we've got every cart that's been delivered, we're going to then have a time for you to put those out, and JRM will haul them off. And we'll probably make like a little, not a sticker, but something to put on the barrel so that JRM is clearly aware that it needs to be trashed. So we do recommend that you just keep paying attention to all the messages. If you're here, you probably got one of my messages. Keep monitoring, and we'll put it out through those channels.
Why did you not mail the options of tags versus waiting till July? Would it not be easier to say, come get your tag or mail them?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good question. We made that decision very early on in this planning for this. Just there were a lot of issues around inventorying the carts and associating the tags with the carts. And the way that the tags will work is when we buy them, we're going to scan them and associate the tag to the cart. And as you can imagine, that would be a difficult thing to pull off if you don't actually have your cart yet and you call for a tag, we don't know which cart to associate that tag with. So logistically, not something that could be pulled off. But the good news is when you do purchase your trash tag in July, we are going to make that prorated. So when you buy your first one, you're not actually paying the full $75. You're actually going to pay what's left in the calendar year. So what would that be? 5 months worth? So it's probably going to be about $40 instead of the 75, whatever. My math's off on that, but I think everybody gets it.
Yeah, and I think another factor is we wanted to, as you could probably imagine, with 32,000 cots, we wanted to first have a little bit of time to get that situated before, you know, all of a sudden we take on that aspect of the program. And the other matter for us was this aligns better with our fiscal year, which begins on July 1st and ends on June 30th. So those were some other reasons in addition to what Mr. Cochran said. Linda, good evening. I might repeat this question. I know you don't like that, Mr. Cochran. Can you repeat the DPW phone number?
Yeah, sure. It's 781-397-7160 or email dpw@cityofmalden.org.
Is the tag waterproof and strong that it can't be stolen?
Yeah, we get this question a lot. It's one of the things, once again, lending to what we talked about before about making sure we get it right. It allowed us to separate these two things. We're working on that now. We're working with our vendors now to make sure that these things are tamper-proof to the best of their ability, and definitely waterproof. There's no question about that because it has to stay on there for a full year. But, you know, whether or not you can steal it, well, you know, I mean, I think everybody knows in this world that there's nothing that is theft proof, right? So the best thing you can do is make it so that it's painful if you're caught doing the wrong thing. And I think we have addressed that. And, you know, we have fines in place if we discover that. And then also we're associating the tag itself with the cart. So if we come and we scan it and find that there's a mismatch, we'll immediately be fining that property for it. So we really hope that won't be the case. And if yours does get cut off, that's an easy resolution too. We know that it's associated with that cart. So you give us a call. We'll have our trash inspector come out, take a quick look, and then we'll issue you a new tag that will pick up where that one left off because it's all stored on our database.
All right, let's say hello to Tina. Is trash tag a one-time purchase? No, annual, correct?
That is correct. It's annual and it is, again, prorated. So whenever you buy it throughout the year, you know, you'll be prorated. So if you choose to buy it in October, you're going to be paying for 3 months worth. So it's when you need it, but it is one calendar year from there.
So Tina, I think the idea is when we made these changes, we were trying to keep the costs in line with the revenues generated to pay for those costs. So that's why it's annual and it's not one time. Let's go over to Robin. What if I pay for the annual tag and somebody cuts it off and uses it for their barrel?
Yeah, so I think that we just addressed that, which is there is no, you know, it's impossible to have this be, you know, we can't eliminate this as possibly happening, but, you know, two things I think that are working in our favor on this. One is that you as residents will let us know this right away because obviously you have a stake in this because you've paid for something that you no longer have. And then the second thing is our auditing system. You know, if it's our JRM drivers and our trash inspectors, they're going to look for this kind of thing. You know, if something looks tampered with, if it looks like it's been clipped and tied, hey, maybe it did legitimately come off and get, you know, clipped off. Well, we can scan it and make sure. So as always, when things are going wrong out there, your residents can help us by submitting a C-Click Fix ticket or calling the hotline and bringing it to our attention, and we'll address it.
Back to Wade. Hello, I also support the city and Mayor Christensen. Screenshot that, Ron.
Yeah.
Apologies if I missed this, but should we bag our recyclables before putting them in the bin?
No. So that's a good question. I don't think we've ever officially addressed that. Bagging recyclables, it is addressed on our recycle card, which we shared before. And I'll share it again just for the benefit. On the back side of the cart is what you can recycle, but also it talks about what you can't recycle. And here in this cross out is please don't bag recyclables. And then no plastic bags. So that actually that's always been the case for us, but it's a good question. You know, when you're changing, you might wonder if things have changed, and the answer is no, because what happens is those bags, they're going to get tossed in with the rest, and it becomes a tangler for the machines, and they're not recyclable in the loose way that they are.
All right, back to SEM CND 03. So the garbage trucks do not have arms to pick up the barrels? No, they do. They have them. All other cities have bigger trash barrels, cheap way out. We looked at it and we just did not think that it was something that would work for us. There's just so much activity during the day, not enough parking spaces, I think, as you probably know, especially during the winter. And we just didn't see that as an option, right, Mr. Cochran?
Yeah, I mean, there's two types of automated tippers. There's the ones that maybe he's referring to, which are the ones that reach over onto the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Those will never work in a city because of what you just described. But there is another type of tipper, and that's ones that are on the back. I think maybe you've seen those in some neighboring cities. You know, one of the challenges we had was when we were looking at the contract, there was only so many things that we were able to do within the confines of our contract. I think a lot of folks had the misunderstanding that we had we could have done anything, you know, opened it up and done any kind of program. And that was not the case. We had some challenges and things that we had to work within a contract that we're still in with JRM. And one of those things is JRM was not able to outfit their existing trucks that they have from Malden with these tippers. Now, you never know, that may change down the line, but that's certainly not the case for the foreseeable future.
All right, let's go to anonymous attendee. I see how you're just running around the question like a true politician. He must be talking about you, Mr. Cochran. So actually does come in, let's see, the person does come in with a question. Why are we only being allowed one large bag, parentheses 30 pounds? What if we have more trash? If it fits, not overflowing, can we add more than one blue trash bag to the barrel?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the case would be, you know, the two smaller bags, the $1 bags. You could certainly fit two of those in there. I doubt you'd be able to get two. You certainly wouldn't be making the best use of a $2 large bag if you tried to put two of those in that cart. You'd not be getting the most for your money. But, you know, in terms of the 30, it's actually 35 pounds, not 30 pounds. Yeah, as long as you can fit it right up to the top, the lid is even concave at the top. So it'll probably close just a little bit overflow. So it's usually one large size blue bag, kind of pretty fully stuffed. That's what that black trash card will contain. And
let's go over to Rick. The current recycling bins can't be used for overflow after the new cart system is in place. If they are put out with recycling in them, they will be taken away. So I think the answer to the first question is the current recycling bins will not be used for overflow, correct?
Yeah, that is correct. Those will be taken. So if they're put out with recycling, they'll be taken away. Yeah, what will happen is eventually, you know, they will, the JRM is going to be scooping those up and grabbing them. So I think the way they'll do it is they'll have recycling trucks go first, which means that they'll empty what's in there, and then the trash will come second. And then the trash trucks that see those blue carts, those blue bins still out there, they're going to scoop them. So, yeah, that should solve that.
SEM CND 03. So elderly housing will now have barrels in front of their places and no more bags. So how many barrels will they be issued? Because across my street every Wednesday, we have lots of bags that sit there as well as furniture. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure. You might have to contact us after the webinar. But again, every unit, right? Every house will get a trash cart, a barrel, and a cart, right?
My guess, what they might be talking about is some of the Malden Housing Authority units that use the black bags. Yeah, that's a different collection system altogether. So no, that would not be incorporated. Yeah.
That won't be affected, SEM CND. All right, let's say hello to Joanna. I own a home on Salem Street and it's a main street. When our trash is at curbside, people have been putting their trash in our barrels who don't live there. There is a bus stop and people use our barrels for dumping their trash when they're waiting for the bus. Yeah, I don't think this program impacts that, Joanna, but why don't you contact us after the webinar? Maybe it's time we see if we can add one of those creative outdoor advertising bins that you see around town. We'll see if we can put one there, okay? So contact us at info@cityofmalden.org. Anonymous attendee, I used that website but never saw results when we had snow and the sidewalk was never cleaned. All right, try again. And if you don't get to where you want to go to, reach out to me at gchristiansen@cityofmalden.org. Let's say hello to Mark. Why do I need your trash bin if I could just put bags in my own trash bin?
I mean, technically, no. I guess if you're going to continue to use blue bags, we're okay with that. You know, if you're going to continue to put them in the carts, but we're going to give you those first two carts, you know, the trash and the recycling cart for free. We're pretty confident that 90% of the people out there are going to appreciate that and use those. So I guess, yeah, you could continue to use those other carts, but we're giving you these additional carts.
How secure are the tags going to be? What if someone steals my sticker? Would I get a new one at no additional fee?
Yeah, so we addressed that previous. We would have you contact the hotline and we would work through that scenario. But yeah, you know, you're not responsible for someone that is stealing your tag. We'll figure out a way to get you the tag back on your cart.
All right, hello, Maggie. Cardboard boxes can be broken down and put next to the recycling bin instead of in it?
Yes, great job bringing that up, Maggie. I call those the cardboard and the paper bundles. We want you to still do that because we understand that those carts, once you put a cardboard box in there, they can act as baffles. You know, they can block the rest of the stuff going in there. So yes, please continue to use cardboard bundle techniques that you might have, you know, which would be like taking a cardboard box and putting other cardboard inside of it, taking them and bundling them up, or you can use the larger size carts, additional carts, and you know, you can still sort of separate in a sense that maybe dedicate one of your carts towards cardboard so that you can make it a little easier to get, you know, maximize the blue carts, but they're all going in the same place. But yeah, please continue to do those bundles.
Good evening, Lisa. I would like the drop off for the carts to be on the side of my house, not the front. Can we choose where they will be dropped off?
No. We're going to do our best on the corner lots. They'll probably put them with where the address is. So if the address of record, you know, on a corner lot, we'll be putting them in front of whatever the address of record is. But it'll be fairly obvious. Most of these, you know, you're just going to probably have to walk around the corner and see that we've put them all in front of that address of record.
Can the cart contain 2 blue 15-gallon trash bags instead of one 35-gallon trash bag at one time?
Yes, they should both fit in there. Yep.
Yep. How to dispose of large garbage like furniture? that does not fit in the blue bags or the new can?
So nothing's changed about our bulk waste policy, which is you are permitted to throw away one bulk item per property per week. And that's without any extra charge. So things like couches, dresser, bureau, things like that. As long as it's one per household, you can leave that out with no sticker or anything, and the JRM will haul that away for you.
I'd say hello to Norman. So if you buy the blue bags and put them in the carts, will there be a charge?
No.
Let's go back to Joanna. What do you suggest to prevent people from putting their trash in our barrels? That could be the question of the night. I don't know if we have. Well, one thing is try to put them out there. Try not to put them out too early and don't take them in too late. I mean, that would be one suggestion. And then if you know of someone that is just a repeater, please contact us and we'll see if we can figure out who it is and what we can do. And then the other thing is contact us, Joanna, because again, maybe it's time we look to put a city bin there. Again, I'd have to know the address and all that, but reach out to us at info@cityofmalden.org. Let's go to Red House Pizza. I'm concerned about our neighbors and members of our community who find value in my recycled items, such as beer cans. They are highly looked after. Many are elderly and doing the most they can. How will these bins affect their livelihood? So I think what they're saying is by these recyclables now being contained, is that going to impact them negatively?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. It's tough to address that because, technically that scavenging is not something that's permitted in the city. So, the textbook answer to that is that's not allowed anyway, but I get where you're coming from and can really appreciate your empathy for that segment of our population. So, I can say that we're not changing our policy at all. So I don't think anything's going to change, to be honest with you. And the fact that they're smaller, I think, I don't think anything will change at all with that.
All right, SEM CND03, the city trucks come by and drop off bags a few times a day at the elderly housing across the street from where I live. Will this stop or will there be barrels to take the overflow? Not sure I follow, but again, reach out to me after the webinar and we'll see if we can get that resolved. You can email info@cityofmalden.org or you can reach me personally at gchristiansen@cityofmalden.org. Back to Joanna, would JRM still take the loose trash in the barrel?
No, I assume what you mean is if there's anything kind of like left over after you've taken the bags out. No, they won't be dumping the barrels. They're just going to be picking whatever bags are in there. So again, it would be blue bags until July and then household bags if you have a trash tag after July.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over to Gail, following up on my 8-unit building question. Will the units in the building no longer be allowed to use blue bags?
That's correct. 8-unit buildings, unfortunately, that should have never been permitted, but we do understand that, maybe it was a legacy collection that sometimes, JRM will collect it if they see it, but the difference here is that this is sort of a way for us to audit who is a real participant in our program, and our city ordinance pretty clearly defines that. 6 units or fewer is who's going to be in the program.
And Gail, if you want to take this offline, rcochran@cityofmalden.org, rcochran@cityofmalden.org. Let's see, can residents of Malden get their own trash collectors and not use Malden trash collectors? Not sure I follow. SEM CND03. So once again, email me after the webinar and I'll try to address your question. Can I put the card waste sticker on the black trash bin?
I think I understand what you mean. I think what they mean is that they have, if they want to convert a trash bin into a recycling bin. I guess technically you could if it had the sticker, but we're trying to discourage that because we want that primary trash cart to be just that. We would ask that you focus, if you're looking for overflow, that you focus on either purchasing additional blue carts after July, or carts from box stores like Home Depot or Lowe's that you can then put the mixed recycling sticker on. And if anybody's wondering, we are, as of July, making those available at the purchase of extra carts, and they will be $40 per cart, and we'll deliver them to your house. And again, that's part of our rollout of the trash tag and all these additional things that are made available as of July.
All right, so the tags don't have an address?
They're associated with the cart by barcode. So yes, they have they wouldn't have an address written on them, but we're still in design on them. We think the plan now is to leave a white space for the resident to write in their address. I think that's where we're leaning. So yeah, I mean, that's another way to prevent theft that was talked about before. So it's a great point.
I'd say hello to Michelle. We have a large family with a lot of trash. For our overflow trash, do we need to buy extra carts from you, or can we put extra tags on our existing barrels?
So the only carts that will qualify for trash carts are the city issued black trash carts. So if you wanted to do more than one tag, you'd need more than one black trash cart.
Okay. Let's see. So JRM scans all tags when they pick and make sure they are at the correct address?
No. We would love that. That would be the best scenario possible. But as you've probably seen how fast they race through and grab these trash cans, that's not feasible. This is something that would happen as we audit, or if we're discovered, or if we're made aware of it by one of our residents, we'll have an inspector.
If we buy a tag, can I use any bag as long as it's tightly sealed, like the normal grocery bags?
No, we want actual trash bags, Glads, Hefties, things like that. The things like Stop and Shop bags, retail bags, those just don't hold up. And what winds up happening is they'll break open. They tend to break open. And if they do, you're going to have a mess at the bottom of your cart. And again, JRM is not, if it was different, if we had tippers and they were just dumping whatever was in there, you could do loose trash. But since they're picking the bag, we need it to be regular trash bags.
Okay. Back to Joanna. Can we cut up cardboard and put along the side of the recycling barrel? Yes.
Yep. Cardboard bundles.
What about yard waste? How will that work? Do we have to use the recycle barrel for yard waste? Or do we have a barrel stating yard waste?
No difference in yard waste at all. That's exactly the same. So paper bags that you buy, and then, converted barrels that have the yard waste sticker on them. So no difference at all.
All right. So anonymous attendee, I see you asked the same question. No changes to yard waste. And then I think it's only appropriate that we end with Gail, who says, thank you, have a great night, and be well.
Thank
you.
There
you have it. That's every question there, Mr. Cochran. So once again, I want to thank you all for being here this evening and for your very good questions. And we'll see you out and about next week, right?
Yeah, as of Monday, we'll start to see those out. And again, I think if I leave you with anything, it's please be patient with us on this, and understand we have a full team here working many hours to try to make sure this goes as smoothly as possible. But as you know, there will be hiccups. So we just ask for your patience. And if you have any questions, we'll go over that info one more time. That's 781-605-5100. That's the pay-as-you-throw hotline. You can jump on to our website at cityofmalden.org/trash. We ask you once you get there to sign up for our trash app, which is a way that we can contact you and keep in touch with you about all things related to trash. And if you need an email, it would be info@cityofmalden.org. That's a generic email, or me personally, rcochran@cityofmalden.org. And with that, I think we're all set, right?
Yep. Good evening,
Thank-
Malden.
Bye-bye.